The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Saban Entertainment, and Tsuburaya Productions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TokuTalk.
Yes.
Episode number, who gives a shit?
Episode level X.
No,
Danger,
wait.
danger.
Wait. Just voice. We'll do a voiceover later. Episode number
8.
We'll do a voiceover later. Anyway, moving on.
All right, Jeff.
We're talking about form changes and their overusage and how bad they're
overusage, their underusage, and everything in between.
Just to clarify, we're specifically talking about horizontal form changes, not power-ups and ultimate forms.
Except when the when the power-up also has horizontal form changes.
Yes. Oh, God.
But yeah, we're going to go back into time. That was a Prince reference for you. Black RX. So we
As we hate the show, this was the first time we saw
form changes
used like
this. You mentioned Black RX, it makes me want vodka.
With Robo Rider and the other one, his name I don't remember.
The other one.
Nobody does.
But on the plus side, although it's really weird how we got them. Remember, he got them with in the span of 2 episodes of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 other forms. So I was like, okay, that's a thing that's happening.
Yep.
But they also were utilized pretty often, especially Robo Rider. Bio Rider, that was the name of the other one. They use those quite a bit because, situational form changes are always a good thing. Especially when you have so few, they really have a way to actually utilize those. Getting into Kuga. Mm-hmm. We have some lateral form changes.
Yep.
That were very good.
Very, very good. Because, we have blue, green, red, and purple. And the fact that since they're lateral, we can keep using these and, to really fit their situation. Because I remember, a couple of flying enemies he couldn't beat by himself. He either ended up having to get them down using his Pegasus form, or shoot them down using Dragon, I believe is the name of it, where you could shoot them. I can't remember. Maybe that's the name. Who knows? But
gun form.
Yeah, and then, we end up going up one from there. We end up getting the mighty versions of each one.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about these forms is that he had to practice them. They all worked in a specific situation. Like, when he first gets the blaster form, he is overcome by his new senses. He literally hears everything and it hurts. So it went very shonen to learn how to use them. That's how new forms work. You don't master it immediately.
Mm-hmm. Then, going from there... Well, Agito had a couple of form changes, but he didn't really use the blue one that often, or the red one, which is sad in itself. Moving on, we're going to go ahead and go to Den-O, because that's the next one with some actual lateral form changes.
But with Den-O's case, those lateral form changes were also character changes, which were used for comedic purposes.
Right.
So it was less about using the form that would be best suited for the situation. It was about what character wanted to be in the spotlight this time.
And it was usually Ori Sanjo. So...
Momotaro.
But yeah, it really works for that show, and I love, not the biggest fan of Den-O. I don't really like a lot of over comedy.
The lack of plot.
Yeah, and the fact that we don't end up getting an actual plot in that show until Kai comes in very, very, very late, and then he turns into Ultraman Orb later. But
all right.
Yeah, we end up getting after that
the Neo Heisei era, which is, oh my god, all the form changes ever.
All of the forms.
And they started off very light with W.
They started off very light with W.
Which in my opinion might be the best one.
Honestly, yes. It is probably the best use of form changes because they had multiple combinations, 6 Gaia memories or drug USBs, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Gaia memories.
Anyway, which he adapted perfectly to what situation he was fighting in with the different abilities it gave him and the different styles that he can use with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Joker, if you wanted to go
even
hand-to-hand.
Fang.
Well, yeah, Joker and Fang. Yeah. But Joker is the main one. That's the one that really determines the fighter style. Is Joker, Trigger, Metal. Mm-hmm. And then, going from there.
Hand-to-hand, gun, and staff.
Yeah. And then
they were augmented with elements.
So, then they were augmented with,
Luna,
Cyclone, and Heat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heat. But and then Fang had its uses too because it could be both close combat and range.
Yeah. And
which honestly, Fang might be one of my favorite.
I think that was actually that's actual power up.
I still like the just the. It's just I just thought it was a very cool thing.
That later in time, but. Going on to the next one, we got O's with his 900,000 combinations.
But yet he still used...
He used everyone at least more than once.
At least twice. So we know what all of them do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we remember all of them to a degree. Because it also helps that they
say the name every time they're used, so
I'm
it's
also,
kind of drilled into your head.
Well, I think what also helps is the idea of combos where he has to do the one color. So we'll at least see those at least 2 or 3 times, so we know those other.
Unless you're Gatakiriba, in which case
you're too expensive.
You're too expensive to use.
What was the other one? Burakwani. That's sort of the issue.
Burakwani was a movie. That was a movie form.
It's good after a little bit.
That's also. These are also all the color combos are also power ups, not necessarily form changes.
The way that they ended up using.
I'm just saying the concept helped. Remember
what was it? It was really post O's where they started to use the form that was in the movie in the show, like with Fourze and his rocket states. But speaking of Fourze, we also have
all the fucking switches in the world that we saw maybe once.
So there are a couple that he did use only once, like the pogo stick and the calligraphy brush,
which is weird because I like that one. And I have no idea why.
What, the calligraphy?
Yeah.
The way it works is kind of cool, because if you haven't seen it, the way it works is he writes... a character attached to his leg, I think, and he writes characters with it, and they appear in the real world, and he can use them to attack with.
That sounds overpowered.
It's an interesting concept.
It's not the same way that they use it in Shinkenger, where it actually makes something... It's just a character.
It's just a character.
Oh, so he doesn't, like...
He doesn't conjure things.
He can't just say, like, nuclear weapon. Or,
no.
Damn it.
No,
that's super broken.
Shinkenger could do that, probably.
That's super broken. Just like nuke.
Yeah, it's just too many switches. Not enough time.
Death Note.
Death Note.
Yeah. Moving on to Wizard.
Speaking of which, if y'all want us to review that movie, that'll be fun.
Y'all can do that. Have fun.
It got good reviews coming out of Comic
Wizard.
Oh yeah.
There was so much potential.
Remember when we were talking earlier about Kuga and we said his forms actually evolved. You don't see the base form anymore once they got to their mighty forms. With Wizard, he is constantly switching back and forth, and their power levels are so inconsistent. There are moments where he will be in his base form and he will just walk through a monster. Then he will be split into 4 people all in their dragon forms, and he can't beat minions. It's so inconsistent and it drives me nuts.
Get away from the mic. But yeah, it's just with his, water, hurricane, and land form, and his flame form, it's just like, yeah, there's a lateral. Then we get the, dragon forms of those. And
then all the different spells.
He has so many different spells, some of which he only uses once. It's the Fourze thing again.
Like the tuxedo one.
Yeah, dress up, please.
Merry Christmas!
Which restores presents.
Well,
that one actually, there's a reason it only got used once. It obliterated after use, but still.
Yeah, and also the fact that they should just not do Christmas episodes. But
I hate Santa. Christmas.
Fuck that. Fuck you, Geki Ranger.
But yeah, it's just like you end up having ones like that, and the muscle one, which could have been utilized a lot more.
Yeah, Excite. Which turns
also bad name for that.
Became Excite. A good song later.
Fair enough.
Okay. But yeah, after Wizard, we had Gaim, which has Mango. Remember Mango? Remember the one time it got used?
Oh my god, I forgot about
Mango. 1 or 2
Mango.
times in that show.
And it's not a fucking hammer. And I'm sorry. Can I still want to write about that.
Nope. No, you do it later.
Not right now, but...
we will at some point.
Remember Kiwi?
Yeah, Kiwi only got used like once.
It got used once in show,
once in movie. In show proper, it got only used once.
They used it once in show and once in movie. And then we also ended up having...
To be fair, the character who was using Kiwi was a whiny little crazy bitch who doesn't deserve
this. This is
changes.
Before that.
He was still a whiny little bitch before he went crazy.
But then we also ended up having Pineapple.
And Pineapple,
which barely got used because nobody liked how it looked.
And Strawberry.
Which
got used a little bit more.
It got used a decent amount to remember it exists.
But it also looked foolish. I just did not like the way that it looked.
It looked better than Pineapple.
It looked better than Pineapple.
Oh yeah, it didn't flop around a whole bunch.
Drive.
Because that's what you want intimidating samurai armor to do.
Also, before we go to Drive, what happened to Jinba Melon? Where is that?
They just never used it at all.
Story-wise, he just never got the lock seed for it, which makes sense. But I would still like to see what augments it, or like what kind of augment he gets with it, because Cherry gave him speed, Peach gave him super future sense.
Enhances.
Future sense?
Yeah.
Alright, fucking Alakazam.
Anyway, But yeah, Jinba Melon was something I wanted to see and never got.
Yeah.
You'll have to buy the toy and just use your imagination.
Gave us melon balls.
Blue melon balls. Moving on to Drive.
Because all we need is that. All those other cars that just never got utilized more than once.
The shift.
The casino one.
Yeah.
Taxi.
No, he used that one again later
like
when somebody.
twice?
Yeah, he used it like twice.
But the monster jaw one. Why?
That one just existed for some reason. And yeah, that was a
cement one got underused because even though that would be super useful, they tried just like with fucking Forze. They tried to save it by saying his ultimate form could use combinations of them, and then he'll only use 3 sets of combinations.
It's weird.
It's a bit like playing a video game where they give you 9 billion solutions to do one thing, and only one of them is actually useful.
And the one that's useful is shoot.
Yes.
But he still gets, besides the shift cards, he gets 3 lateral forms. Because he gets that, he gets Wild and Technic.
He used Wild quite a bit. Technic,
he did.
Not so much.
Well, I can understand why. Technic was the marksman. He really didn't need to shoot people. Unless you were the ninjas, which I'm sorry, that was fucking amazing. Where he just went to Technic and just shot all the ninjas. And he was like, alright, I'm done. And then they arrested the red ninja, which was funny.
That's the only funny part.
He went to jail for being a ninja.
Yeah, basically.
Also, Technic just didn't look that great.
Yeah.
And then he got shift cards he can only use.
I remember the winter one, Road Winter, that literally only got used once.
Because there's some shift cards he can only use in those forms.
And it just doesn't make sense to laugh.
Oh, so remember how many times he used fucking Dead Heat?
Before he gave it to
Mach, and then Mach's like mine forever. And then Formula, and then Try to Own. Remember all the shift cards he uses in Formula? All 3 of them?
Yeah, I think that because they can only be used with Formula. He never used American Dream, Weather Report, Tough Guy, or Grand Prix in the show. Sadness. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to one of the bigger offenders of this.
Ghost.
Now, I still hold true to the belief that I think Ghost's use of historical characters as forms is really, really cool.
It's a great idea on paper. Executed pretty fucking poorly.
Because we got Musashi in the first episode. Why? We just got introduced to this character, and alright, why couldn't you have waited? Why couldn't the entire show just been based on just this? Why couldn't Ghost fucking use Infinity in the goddamn X8 movie instead of the one with the 3 people who founded Japan or something like fucking shit? Alright, you know what? This is not a rant. It almost turned into one though, because good God.
That's going to be the entire Ghost review.
It's true. It's just going to be, the entire time it's going to be...
If you like Ghost, don't watch that review. I'm sorry. We're going to rip it up.
No, watch it all the same. It should be funny.
We're going to rip it apart, though.
But yes, it's that...
the forms that were useful were used the least. Yeah. Newton, Benkei. Fucking sake, people.
Newton could have been the one that...
That's one of the problems I have, is that a lot of these forms, they rely too much on CGI effects, which makes them too expensive to use.
And they're the most powerful?
Yeah.
Newton stopped a city from falling.
Yeah, he did.
The ability to control gravity by itself is broken. Also, it looked good. The boxing motif,
I really like it. But it's just, he had so many forms, and so many of them got underutilized. I'm looking at you, mostly, in this case, Billy the Kid.
Oh, yeah, Billy the Kid. That was one of his better looking forms, because I'm sorry, some of these forms looked awful.
Yeah.
I really like Beethoven. But
Beethoven looked okay.
It's just like, you have Edison. That one got used by Spectre more than him.
Ha!
Yeah.
Newton. Billy the Kid. Benkei apparently can use all the different weapons, which, why the fuck would you not use that? Oh my god, Origen. He looked
Goemon had a sort of an arc, and sort of Ryoma, but he really didn't use those, or Himiko either. And then,
because it looked awful.
Then we got Boost, and we're just like, okay, but like...
Why? And then he had the forms that he can only use with Boost, which was even worse.
No, they all had the ability to use them later. It's just the fact that he never really used them.
Oh, Houdini. He got to use Houdini. I'm sorry, don't steal Spectre's forms, asshole.
I mean, you can say that in reverse, too.
Fair enough. Mugen?
Boost just had an issue where it was a power
it shouldn't have existed.
And then it had lateral transformations, but at the same time, you're just like... Why?
And then he became Jesus.
And he also had some other ones.
That were only in the movies and stuff, like Kamehameha, Darwin.
Tinkatoids?
Also, the fucking belt needed to shut up.
Yeah.
I'll give him this, though. I will give him this, though. Click that one. His use of looking like the other Kamen Riders, I think, is one of the best ones so far.
Yeah.
Because Wizards looked awful.
Ichigo was
I
wide.
don't even remember Wizards.
The Heisei one looked okay, and they used it again for show 45 or one of the
Yeah,
other.
his one for Heisei didn't look terrible, where he had all the different logos. But yeah, he did not look terrible looking like the other Kamen Riders.
Yeah.
Especially like Gaim and Drive, which you expect to look.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But
it's just too many forms is what we're really going into.
And we know why there's so many forms. Fucking toys.
We're going to actually talk about X8 here, because X8 did it correctly. Because that show has a legitimate level system, everything moves horizontally instead of laterally.
You mean vertically? Instead of...
That too. But, yeah.
Everything goes up instead of going sideways.
Yeah.
Everything is stronger than the last.
Yeah, so, he had his level 1 and 2 forms, level 3, level 4.
5. There was level 4?
Bergamon's one
was
level 4.
Level 5.
Level 5, skip to 10.
Level
99.
6, level 7,
20.
level 8.
No, he never got a 50. Because he never got a 50, so he skipped straight to 99.
And then what was this?
He was using a Game Shark.
And then Mugen, Muteki is just infinite. Cause
no, it isn't.
It's invincible.
I thought it wasn't infinite. Because
it has no level.
Yeah, it's just God. But anyway,
it literally can't be touched. And then we begin because a whole bunch of this is coming from the scans for Build, and Build just has so.
And one
many
scan
forms.
has like 6 to 7 forms.
And his Q1 form, he has like 8,
including a power up. We're worried that it's going to be just another ghost where they never get used, or we never really get used to seeing the first form, which we like the first form.
Yes, we do.
We're going to get another form in that first episode, and I'm not okay with that. Not okay with that at all. And why? Why that JPG? Why that JPEG? Why that GIF?
I knew he was going to do GIF. I knew he was going to do Y.GIF. Y.doc.
Why that move?
Why that PDF?
Why that MOV?
Why not MP3?
Yep. MP4. M4A.
Y.4K.
Why not WAV?
Yep.
How long can we do this? Stick around.
How many form changes can Y have?
Why not WMD? So, yeah, it's just when you end up
Y.fuck you.
Y.UHD.
Yep. When you end up having
HDR.
Y.USB.
When you end up having too many forms, just like you have just a chance of just underutilizing everything else, and that's problematic. I don't like the way that they're really doing this again with Bill. They did it so well in X8, but X8 did a lot of things right. So yeah, we're just running into the major issue of this right now.
We're just running in, which is why we're so cautiously optimistic about that.
Especially because Bill's main suit looks fine, looks good. And we all know
what happens. Even though it's Rabbit and Tank. Really, though.
And we all know what happens when a suit looks good. We just haven't heard anything about the writer still, so by the time this comes out...
I thought X8's look good. That show's turning out fine.
I didn't think X8 looked that good.
I think it was but then that show was just
it was good.
I like
it. If I remember correctly, I said it looked like Akiba Ranger, the Kamen Rider.
I like that X8 a lot. The show itself, I like more than the guy, so there's that.
But...
Yeah. Form changes.
Let us
know what you think about them in the comments below.
I still think it's just become a monster that cannot be controlled anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna need them to put a muzzle on that thing real
like your dogs.
Ha!
Well, this has been the Tokucast. Doing another TokuTalk. Bye, everybody. Shut the fuck up. Bye.
Bye.
Keep that part in. Keep the shut the fuck.